People can't sleep. They're staying up till 2 or 3 morning. They're working shifts till 7 in the morning, working all night on a third shift. There's also a third shift syndrome out there too, because you're not getting any sunlight. You need the sun to be well. She dried up for a couple of months, but now she's back in business. This is the spring that we come to. It's hopefully this era ending and gone forever. This is the most disgusting political party in the history of the United States that is coming to an end. And thank God. Welcome back to Jeff Outdoors. Tomorrow, Western Reserve Homesteading Extravaganza, Kirtland, Ohio. I will be there, and we're going to learn some stuff about maple syrup and homesteading. If you're in Ohio, we'll see you there. Okay, we're at the Western Reserve Homestead Summit up here near Chardon, Ohio. It's about a half an hour, or about an hour and a half from me, so I had to drive up this morning. And let's see, we got some good snow going today, and it's supposed to start cooling down later tonight. So it's real heavy, wet snow, and they have a wagon going around, but I'm wanted to get out and walk a little bit. Feels good to get out in the cold. You can see the farm there. This is at a farm park, and I dressed for the weather. I have my wool on today, and I think we can expect the cold to keep going. Next week we're going to get into negative temperatures, and that's all right with me, but thought I'd just do a little shout out. Pretty good day so far, hanging out with Joel Salatin and some guys that run the sugar house. So good times. Welcome back to Jeff Outdoors. Okay, so the Western Reserve Homestead Summit was this past weekend, the 18th and 19th. I went Saturday the 18th, and I can't speak enough about how cool of an event this really was. And I'm gonna give a shout out here to the one and only Joel Salatin, who I have met several times over the past 10 years. Anyways, so the Western Reserve Homestead Summit 2025. My main focus in going to the summit was maple syrup production. However, I did go to the Joel Salatin talks on bootstrapping the homestead and clean eggs, and going over things to watch for in your chicken house, and what to do as far as winter bedding, what kills chickens, etc., etc. So I was making notes the whole time, and came away with some really great things that I thought I would share here real quick. So so the maple syrup first. So there were 3 rounds. Was it 3? There was like a 101, maple syrup 101, and then there was advanced maple syrup, and then there was like talk on like marketing, labeling, bottling your maple syrup, etc. So the maple syrup 101 was great for people who know nothing about making maple syrup. They know that you gotta tap a tree and get the sap collected somehow, whether that's tubing or buckets or bags, you might be at that very first stage. I did go to that just because you never know, you might pick something up from somebody asks a question or whatever. But the guys who were doing the talks, Seldom Seen Farm and Tom from Salo Maple, Tom, everybody was, and Jen Freeman at Richards Maple, highly experienced maple producers, go-to people, great picks for this Homestead Summit. I can't speak enough on their expertise and maintaining dialogue through the sessions. It was really cool to be there. I'm glad I got up early enough in the morning to drive almost an hour and a half, about an hour and 15 minutes, up to the event location at the Metro Parks Farm Park, which I'd not been to before. Again, it's about an hour and a half away, so I don't get up there a whole lot. I was up around that area for Maple Tour. Actually, the event was just down the road from where I bought my new evaporator for this year. So I kind of already have been in the area and knew something about the area. But anyways, fantastic people, fielding questions, taking every question in the book. Like, there's no shaming that you don't know about this or that when it comes to maple syrup. Truly people that want to sit and help. A bird just ran into my window. Did you hear that? Anyways, fantastic talk. And again, everything from like, hey, I'll take you outside and you'll get some experience actually drilling a hole in the tree and tapping a tree. So maple syrup samples, flyers of Maple Tour and how to get some more information, and talking about how deep you tap and how to collect the sap storage, boiling itself, boiling at that 2-inch, 1.5 or 2-inch mark in your main boil pan, right on down to what you have to include on a label here in Ohio if you're selling maple syrup, ungraded and graded, because it's still a cottage food in Ohio, where there's really not. It's a non-hazardous, what do they call that? They call it a non-potentially hazardous food product, essentially. You're boiling sap. Everything is high temperature, way above any chance of getting bacterial growth inside of the finished product. Very little risk. Very little risk. So the boiling, the filtering, options for filtering. You can get a steam bottler, water jacketed bottler. You can do it at home with a ladle and a funnel, which is how most people start out. Maple syrup equipment can be very expensive, and I learned that probably midway through my first year of maple, as I got to know more about evaporators and the filtering process. So it was quite a shock at a certain point where it was like, wow, I would love to have this and this and that. But you learn the process and you learn the equipment with the process. So once you find out you have to filter, you find out how people at home are filtering, and you're doing it. Say you do it for a season, and you're like, wow, that's a little cumbersome. What else? How else are people filtering and bottling? And then bam, lo and behold, there are companies out there that actually make, like, you can filter into a canner or / bottler, and then once the syrup's filtered, you can just bottle right from that filtering system, and you're done. Makes life so much easier, right? So these are things that you learn as you're going along, and even the experienced guys of 30 years experience doing maple syrup, they will even say, and Tom, who kind of led the conversation most of the time, but Tom and Jen, both said that they're constantly learning new things. Like I said, I've been doing maple for almost a decade, and I went to the Maple Production 101 session because you never know. You never know. Somebody's gonna ask that question that you never thought of, and it's just a learning process. So the newbies can learn from the old guys can learn from the newbies, because it's just how things work. So I would recommend, if you're in Ohio or close to Cleveland area and you want to get into maple syrup, if this is an event that happens next year as well in January. Most people aren't doing anything in January, so you might as well go and learn something about maple syrup. Now, the past few years, our maple syrup season has been starting right about now. We've been usually I would probably be tapping this week, but we're getting into minus 12, minus 20 degree wind chills this week, and we have about 8 or 9 inches of snow on the ground. It's absolutely freezing out. We're not tapping right now till at least mid-February. And that's the other thing. You never know when the season's going to start. So past 3 years, I've boiled the first weekend in February. That's not happening this year. And I called it that we were going to have a bunch of snow this year because I bought a snowplow this past summer. When we hadn't had any snow for like 3 years, well, two years at least. I bought the snowplow, and I told people, hey, it's going to snow this winter because I just bought a plow. Lo and behold, we've had some decent snow. No big, huge snowstorms right where I'm at, but we've had 2 or 3 inch in a day. And then it sits. We had a little bit of rain, then it froze, turned to ice, that kind of thing, which is not great in the winter. But this winter is proving to be a good one. And I like to have snow on the ground. I don't like that ugly brown terrain that you can get when you don't have snow, when you have these snowless winters. So yeah, as of right now, mid-February probably for tapping. Washington's birthday was always kind of a time frame for a lot of folks, or even Valentine's Day. So that's what we're looking at. But we don't know how long the season will last yet. If we tap mid-February and the weather goes crazy and starts jumping up into 50s and 60s by the end of February, we might only get 2 weeks of maple season. And I've had that. You might only get 2 weeks. With the way things are trending, I think we're gonna be pretty decently cool through February. And actually, I'm expecting some big snowstorms in February. I'm predicting big snow, because the way this is working, this oscillation is going to start pulling more moisture from the southwest, from the Pacific, from the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to, as it's coming down, it's swooping down real heavy right now, right? And it's pulling moisture more south, but that's slowly going to retreat north. And as it does, it's going to pull more moisture, more moisture, more moisture. And I think we're going to get dumped on here in the Great Lakes. That's my prediction, but we'll see. So for the Homestead Summit, the maple syrup part was fantastic. And tune into the next video, and I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the notes that Joel Salatin gave us about chickens and clean eggs and bootstrapping your homestead, making life easier, being smart, working smarter, not harder, types of things. So thanks for watching this part. Part 2, I guess, is going to come up. So we'll see you then.